Lewis, you're muted.
Okay, sorry. I have a little button here that's supposed to show when I'm muted or not.
I think you muted yourself again. Okay.
Yeah, I can't tell when it's on or off. But anyway, welcome everybody to the Miami Dolphins post-game show here on 5 Reasons Sports Network. Obviously, the score was definitely not what we wanted it to be. I'm not even going to mention what it was because it was that bad. Over 50 points for the Buffalo Bills. Not pretty.
Did anybody get a 50 piece on us last year or no?
Yeah, didn't the Ravens?
Baltimore,
I think it was like 51, right?
Yeah.
Or something. Let me see.
Yes. So
we've come full circle.
Hey,
Stop.
It's brutal right now on Dolphins Twitter. Just so everybody
Twitter,
knows. So
Twitter's like a war right now. It's landmines and
listen. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to go on Twitter, bro. I don't care. Let's go.
Oh yeah, the Ravens beat us 59-10.
Oh, look! Hey, we're better. We're better by 3 points, guys.
Yep.
Yes.
All right. So
by
for
3,
everybody,
what? Even by 6. Oh well, I guess scored 16 more. Lost.
So the Dolphins didn't win, but maybe you did with PrizePicks.com. You can always go to 5 Reasons Sports Network. We have that. We're gonna help them out there. So again, promo code 5 is FIVE, and you'll be able to pick. You'll be able to have your deposit matched up to $100 on there, and you can try to get some actual points. Hopefully, you get the over on some Jacksonville Jaguars because that's the only hope the Dolphins have of making the playoffs now.
Hold on, I just figured out what happened. Do we all know someone with the network that bet the under on this game on the 3-point line?
Mike, are you gonna throw allegations like that right now, man?
I'm gonna throw
it.
Did Ethan not bet the under and immediately tweet out about the under after the Dolphins' first field goal? That's it. It's Ethan's fault. I'm good. All right, we're good.
It's the Ethan curse.
We would love to be able to say that it's something that simple, but if we're being dead honest about it,
always blame Skolnick. Every single time, always blame Skolnick.
So
it's tough, man.
So this is what's happening on my feed right now, and I can't even do a Pulse of Fins Nation because every comment is pretty much exactly the same comment. Is that Tua did not prove that he is an elite quarterback prospect, and the Miami Dolphins must, at all costs, pick either Justin Fields or Zach Wilson or some other quarterback at number 3 overall. By the way, that's assuming the Dolphins even get number 3 overall because there's a very distinct possibility that the Texans will win and they won't get the number 3rd overall pick. So that has not yet been set in stone. That's the first thing. And already the comments begin. Tua was a mistake. Tua is not the guy. Tua doesn't have it. Tua doesn't have enough anything. Tua's not it.
He doesn't have enough flair. He can't throw.
So explode. My brain's gonna explode.
I don't know, man. I'm excited for the offseason. This offseason is gonna be the wildest offseason in probably Dolphins history that I can remember.
Why are we talking about the offseason? Okay, because I've got some friends a few hours north of me who are gonna pull one out for us. Okay.
Do you honestly believe that?
I don't. But I do.
And that's why we're talking about the offseason, Mike.
Yeah,
listen, but time out. No, I'll ask this right now, and we can all answer it, okay? If you had a chance right now to make it into the playoffs, the only way we do that is the 7 seed playing the Bills again. If you had a chance to play the Bills again in a week, do you take it? And
no.
I'll say my piece at the after. Lewis, you say no?
No, I already know what's going to happen.
What? I'm sorry. What was the question again?
If you can get a Jaguars win, right? Are you rooting for the Jaguars or not? Do you want to play the Bills again in a week?
For pride, yes. However, there are concerns, of course, that something similar would happen. I don't think it would. I don't think that sort of thing repeats itself again. But out of pride, honestly, out of pride, I would want to see it just because if this is the way that you end a year in which in every shape and form, when you started the year, everybody doubted your team, and then you put yourself into position, and by miracle was in the at least a chance to be able to have something happen. Of course, you want to see it, but
I guess I'm gonna be I'm gonna be the only Debbie Downer and say that I want this to be Chan Gailey's last game with us. So
I don't think I
don't think you are, Juan.
if this means that Chan Gailey's last game we've just seen and we don't have to ever go back to that, I'm 100% okay with not having to make the playoffs, because Jacksonville beating the Colts seems already like a tough get, and I'm not even going to try to get my hopes up.
Shane, would you want to play the Bills again in a week?
Just really quick.
Yes, yeah. Absolutely. I'm always about reps and playing and letting guys work. Like I think if Tua goes out there and has to throw it another 60 times.
What did he throw? 50 times?
Also, you think he 57, something like that?
He threw 58 for 361.
Yeah, it's a Herbert day.
So here's the one thing that I know you guys mentioned.
Why? Also, I want to see if Flo could stop Buffalo. Like, could he make an adjustment?
I think okay. So I think he can make an adjustment.
Or are we going to let Nick Needham just cover?
Nick Needham sucked.
Davis
that was bad.
4 quarters again.
Like superstar.
Like here's the thing I will say about playing the Bills again in a week. If we play the Bills again in a week, I would go out on a limb and say we don't get stomped 56-26 again. Okay. I really don't think so. But I'd want to see them out there again in a week purely to see what the response is. And I'm not just talking about Flores' adjustments because I would want to see them. I also want to see the way the players come back from that, right? If you're going to tell me this is the last time we see these players until next season, that's going to suck, right? I want to see the way this team responds to adversity, right? So yes, if we went out there and got stomped again 56-26, then we have even deeper questions than what we're thinking. But I want to see the way these players respond. So I'm not ready to say, let's just head into the offseason, forget it. I want to see this again. Run it back. Give me another one.
Well,
I don't want to go ahead.
No, continue. Go before I kind of bring up the next thing.
It's okay. Go ahead. I was just going to say pretty much more of the same.
All right. Well, we let off with Chan Gailey. I think Chan Gailey is the obviously hot topic right now. I think the bigger issue is, in me being just, I guess, the negative guy, this hire was criticized from the beginning. And like, I think we all universally felt like it was going to end this way. Like when this hire was made, Flo was 0 for 2. I think we
were going to end up 10-6 in Buffalo. So
okay, but is anyone happy with the offense performance this year?
I would say there are bright spots and there's things
if
to build on.
If they fire Chan Gailey tomorrow, if they fire Chan Gailey in the next week, Flo is 0 for 2 on offensive coordinators now.
But he's also 10-6 in his second season of a rebuild.
I don't buy the whole 10-6 thing. There's a lot of teams.
How do you not buy? I mean, he won 10 games and lost 6. There's I'm not selling anything.
And so did Adam Gase. And so does a lot of people.
Okay, but you're gonna sit here and tell me. You're gonna sit here and tell me
a really good coach is not getting your face stomped in by 30 points on the road.
You're gonna sit here and tell me that the Adam Gase that you had more faith in the Adam Gase 10-6 Dolphins.
No, I'm not saying. I'm just saying.
So how are you gonna compare an Adam Shane? I apologize, man. I apologize, but how are you gonna sit here and compare a Brian Flores team, one that was embarrassed early on last season, who finished 5-11? Wait.
Great story until you had to play a game that meant something.
I let you, Shane. We all let you speak. You gotta let me speak. You're gonna say that who turns around and has this team at 10-6, who literally a team that you cannot tell me, Shane, that you started this year and said, you know what, week 17, the Dolphins are gonna be in Buffalo, getting ready to fight for a playoff spot. If you say that to me, then you are lying through your teeth.
But they were.
They choked. And say that Brian Flores, you're going to call Brian Flores, who is the best coach that the Dolphins have had in a long time, and you're going to compare him to an Adam Gase led.
You do not know that. No. Don't do that. We don't know if he's the best coach we've had in a long time.
You're comparing Adam Gase. You're Shane. No, come on. Let me have a chance. You're comparing Brian Flores to Adam Gase, right? Because you say we don't know. But Adam Gase never once had a top-ranked offensive unit in with us. His expertise was the offense. Sperano's expertise was the offense. Juan said, bro, I don't even know what Wanston's expertise was. You can have PTSD over Wanston.
He was the defensive coordinator of all those Dallas
there
teams.
we go. And we had an elite defense back in the day. What did Brian Flores come in and do? He came in and he took care of the defense, which last year let Baltimore drop 59 on us. We started off 0-7, finished 5-11, and you're talking about like it's a cute story, but this is exactly what the team is going through. This team started 3-3. He goes and makes the switch to Tua. We end up going 10-6 to finish off the year. We're not supposed to be here, and I feel like, yeah, I get it. Your PTSD is affecting you, but bro, have a little perspective. Like we're way ahead of where we're supposed to be at all. And on top of that, we have ammunition next year to fill the holes that we have this year. So it's like
today was very concerning. And but here's the issue: is we're just at a point where after today, I love Flo. I'm not saying he is Adam Gase. I'm just saying we've seen this before, and now it's time for a little open criticism. You're 0 for 2 on offensive coordinators. Okay, you had 3 rookies drafted before Gabe Davis not contribute a thing today. And that's not totally on Flo, but it does feel a little weird when Brandon Jones, and I know Solomon Kindley's banged up, and it's Raekwon Davis is a rotational defensive tackle, and you're watching, and it's in the juxtaposition of Isaiah Ford dropping passes. Right?
How are you blaming Flores?
But Gabe Davis
he's
does
not
not change.
bro.
Deserve criticism. I'm sorry.
How does that?
Okay,
first
of all, Gabe Davis
didn't say that was it, but I'm just saying the whole thing
doesn't change a single thing from the entire season. Literally the whole season, Gabe Davis doesn't change a thing. Solomon Kindley started at guard for us, and he played really well. He was hurt today. Brandon Jones was a really good safety who played great in good spots. And Raekwon Davis is more than a rotational defensive tackle. He has the ability to better players. Now, Gabe Davis today only contributed because the Dolphins were done.
It was his first 100-yard game of the year. What are we
But Gabe Davis is good. Gabe Davis is pretty good, but I'm not going to start playing a comparison game
maybe we should have drafted a wide receiver for sure. But I feel like how do you blame draft decisions on Flores? Like Flores was dancing when we drafted Raekwon Davis.
Raekwon Davis. This whole rebuild isn't. They can be criticized, guys. It's okay. Okay, you can criticize them.
Man, you mute all of us but Lewis.
Go ahead, Lewis.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. This is what the point I was making at halftime, and I'm going to make that same point again. Put the camera on me right now. Manny, I want you to. Thank you. Let me get one thing clear about this whole conversation. We can talk about how this whole season ended all we want to. We can talk about how they got blown up by the Buffalo Bills twice this season. Buffalo is on a full court press, and they have been for the past 2 seasons now, to not only try to get to the playoffs, they've been trying to say that we're going to the Super Bowl. Right now, they have an actually decent shot at it. Miami, again, this is very important to keep this perspective, is that Miami is in year two of a complete system organizational rebuild from the top to the bottom. From top to bottom. Head coach, new. Offensive coordinator, yes, that has to go too now. That's going to be new all over again. The players are new. The quarterback is new. The philosophy is new. We had 0 talent, big fat 0 on talent on the offensive side of the ball last season. The only thing that made it even remotely working is that Ryan Fitzpatrick is a gunslinger and he finds ways to make magic happen because he's just going to throw it, and if you catch it, great. And if it doesn't, it turns into interceptions. Tua tried to be a gunslinger today. That's kind of what everybody was wanting. Look what happened, because guess what? There's no talent to throw it to. The final count on drops, by the way, I believe this is the official count, is that there were 11 drops. 11. How many yards? How many touchdowns does that account for? Those 11 drops. How do you justify 11 drops? I don't care who your quarterback is. You can be Aaron Rodgers. You can't have your receivers making 11 drops as a team. Quarterbacks have players make drops. That's undeniable. But that many? No. This team needs to go ahead and find new talent to work with. We knew this was going to be the case going forward. Remember what the expectations were for this season. We were supposed to evaluate the players and see how everybody meshed together. Playoffs were not even supposed to be an expectation. Now we have this situation where they were this close to getting there, and whether the Jaguars win or not and miraculously send us there, fine. But the expectation going into the season was not playoffs. It was never, ever playoffs. But the defense found a way to be incredible thanks to, yes, I'm going to give him credit for this because he deserves it, Brian Flores. Turnovers amok everywhere. This team knew how to make things happen. They schemed their way into making things happen. Then the defense needed to have more adjustments made because guess what? The offense adjusts, and then you have to adjust, and then you have to adjust again. The whole game is about adjustments. But when the offense can't move the football, and the guy that supposedly knows how to make this particular offense move, again, this offense, that's the key part here. Tua is not Ryan Fitzpatrick. And that is not to say that Tua is not as good as Ryan Fitzpatrick, nor is it that Tua will never be as good as Ryan Fitzpatrick. They are two completely different quarterbacks with two completely different philosophies in how you throw the football and offenses that are built and designed for specific guys to be successful matters. Tom Brady found success in New England for years. They built the offense around him. Cam Newton tries to come in here, and Belichick tries to tweak some things to try to make it more Cam-friendly, but Cam Newton looked terrible in New England. It was awful, painful to watch for New England fans everywhere, I am sure. So you better believe they're going to be looking for another Tom Brady-ish quarterback and not somebody like Cam. Josh Allen, it took him 3 years to get an offense built for him. This is his offense, his philosophy, his way of throwing the football around. And by the way, in those 3 years, he was steadily improving the things that he was weak on. It's not like he came into the league and immediately was the best thing ever. The same thing is happening now with Tua Tagovailoa. Offense is not built for him. It's literally built for Ryan Fitzpatrick. That was also the logic between the Chan Gailey thing. Chan Gailey is Ryan Fitzpatrick's offensive coordinator. Ryan Fitzpatrick is offensive coordinator Chan Gailey. He's not Tua's offensive coordinator. So that's all I'm going to say at that point. I can see now that they've had enough of me, so go ahead and do your talk.
If you knew you were drafting Tua 5th overall, you should have hired Tua's offensive coordinator. If the playoffs
the idea was that Tua was going to redshirt 2020. Somewhere down the line, that plan
if that was
changed.
the idea, they never would have played him to begin with. If the whole idea was redshirt him, so that obviously wasn't the idea. They missed this hire. End of story. The Chan Gailey hire was a mistake. There's no defending it. And there's none. You can't. They either were going to redshirt Tua, and if that was the plan from the beginning, they would have redshirt Tua and just let Fitzpatrick do the same thing. He did. He just would have let him finish out the season. If there was a real chance of saying, "Hey, if Tua looks good in practice, week whatever, we're going to play him," then you shouldn't have brought an 80-year-old man out of retirement.
I think you guys are talking. I think you guys are talking like where this isn't a COVID year. These are excruciating circumstances where we're talking about a rookie quarterback who hasn't had training camp, who hasn't had time to gel with his receivers, who realistically next year.
I'm here to criticize.
I'm
criticizing
100%
right now.
But again, we're talking about a clear disconnection between Chan Gailey and Tua, where it's a completely different offense with Fitzpatrick because there's a comfort level there. They've had years of it. So where with me, I'm like, okay, well, Gailey has shown with the offense with Fitzpatrick that it can move, that it can be aggressive, that it can go down the field. But with Tua, it's like they're not in sync. Whether that's because there's no offseason, whether that's because, and our guy CK has mentioned it a couple of times. This dude Gailey, he mentioned after I believe the Jets game or the game after that, where he said, "Hey, I burned all my defensive coaches' notes. I'm relying on my offensive staff to let me know how these defensive guys handle things." And it looked like again, because Alfredo mentioned it too, that during the Raiders game, during the first part, before the game even started, they were going back and forth on the plays to try to figure out what they were going to do, what they weren't going to do. So as much as it pains me to say, I will have to agree with Shane that the Gase hire does not bode well for Flores. Flores is 0 for 2. But I also don't want Shane to think that people aren't vindicating or questioning Flores. I've been on the boat where I don't think this whole quarterback system where it's reliever starter, closer starter, whatever you want to say, I don't think that was sustainable. And I said it earlier during the stream. I think that was primarily the cause of why we lost today. It just felt like the offense was waiting for a spark to get going, and it just never came because obviously Fitzpatrick wasn't active.
This is a result. I'll say it again. This is a result of having.
I think he muted himself right as he was going.
Okay. I wasn't sure anymore because nobody was reacting. And Gase, again, I don't know what this. It was no. I'm not even saying that it was not a mistake to hire Chan Gase. I was skeptical of the hire all along, but if it was Ryan Fitzpatrick, the offense moves. Why? The offense is built for him. It's built for him. That's why is this hard to understand? Why is this hard to fathom? That's why. And I'll also say this. I will also say this. I'll go this far. I will go this far. I will even go this far. If Miami did pick Justin Herbert, he would have found success in this offense. Why? Because it's built for gunslingers like Fitzpatrick. We need an offensive coordinator, and we will get one next season, I think. That is built. I have to say, I think. I don't know who they're hiring. I think.
All right, guys, I got to bounce.
All right. Juan. Bye, Juan. Thank you, Juan, for time. When you have somebody like Tua, you are picking a quarterback who is not built to just throw the ball and pray that something good happens. That's what they did. That's what Ryan Fitzpatrick is. And that's how they were able to get as much offensive production as they did early on, is because he just threw it and it happened. If the Dolphins had started the game going 3 wide, 4 wide, or whatever, I think they might have found a little more success, because at the start, at least, that's how they were able to get the ball moving. At the start of the second half, they did exactly what I've been wanting them to do for the longest time. Let him run the 3 wide, 4 wide thing and let him find his target. And it worked for a little bit. Then they started dropping passes again. Well, what are you going to do at that point?
So that's my thing with the look. Okay, this is the only thing I'm going to say about Gase. No, hold on, Shane. Hold on. This is the only thing I'm going to say about Gase. If today's game ends up differently, and this is what the season is, any of the previous losses we've had ends up differently. For example, the Denver game, right? We win that Denver game, regardless of today's outcome, we're in the playoffs, correct?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay. At that point, I think we're all saying Chan Gase isn't the guy for the future, but I don't think we're talking about Chan Gase as this giant failure that now has indicted us that has ruined our future.
Correct.
We're not. Today is an open reaction.
Gase was always a Fitzpatrick hire. It was with the intent.
I don't love Gase. I don't love Gase. I think Gale's a mistake.
But all right. Here's the reason. Shane. Because when you hire Chan Gase in early January, you have no idea in late April if you're drafting 2 at 5. The NFL is unpredictable. You have no idea if he's coming out of the draft.
You
make that hire. So then if they drafted Justin Herbert, it
would have worked for Herbert because it's a Herbert It's a Herbert Fitzpatrick type of offense. Gunslinger.
We got so many Bills fans in here. I love that we're the best post game show they can watch. Thanks for the views, guys. Definitely helps the channel. I love it.
Like it's you saying that it's ridiculous to hire someone in early January for something that you didn't even know would happen or not in late April is ridiculous. And to think that Tua, first of all, coming into the season was way ahead of his rehab schedule than he was supposed to be on. That's the first thing. Tua, as a rookie quarterback, didn't have this stuff. So who knows what happens with all of that. Gase, as Lewis mentioned so many times, has been running 2 different offenses, and it's been mentioned by Alfredo, Juan, Lewis, Michael, everybody that you could listen to on 5R and beyond, even in the media here in Miami, it's clear that there are two different offenses. There's the RPO check down offense that they're running with Tua, and then every time that Ryan Fitzpatrick is in the game, for better or for worse, it's gunslinger, push the ball downfield. It's the same thing it would have been had the quarterback that was drafted been Justin Herbert. If someone traded up and picked Tua, the pick probably would have been Justin Herbert. You're picking either of those quarterbacks. The Chargers themselves said if the Dolphins had picked Herbert, they would have picked Tua. Their GM went on to the Pat McAfee show and said that verbatim. If Herbert was not there at 6, they would have picked Tua at 6. The quarterback situation then has nothing to do with what happens with Chan Gailey in January. What happens with Chan Gailey getting hired in January has nothing to do with what happens in late April. Because by that point, you don't even know if Tua's going to start that.
And I'd even argue that Tua, when given the chance to throw it, did pretty well this season. When he's given that full let it loose, was he doing what Ryan Fitzpatrick was doing? No, and that was years of experience in this offense, years of just letting it rip, and a guy who has literally nothing to lose. Literally nothing to lose. But
after 17 years, you pick up a few things.
I just want to imagine this scenario. The Dolphins have drafted their prized possession for the biggest quarterback drafted name in the last 20 years of Dolphin football since Marino's hired. And your offensive coordinator isn't built for him and fully on board for what he needs. I mean,
because
you think how crazy that scenario is?
Gailey was hired before the draft even happened.
But why? But still, why are you hiring an 80? Like, it's okay. And we could talk about this in circles. But again, the first OC hire was Chad O'Shea. They fired him. He did, obviously. Some people were wondering what this, and now it's Gailey. I don't have much faith in the third guy.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, but that's just it. Everything has to be until it happens.
Yeah,
we didn't say. I wasn't impressed with the Josh Boyer promotion. I'm like, why are we promoting from within when there are a lot of defensive coordinator stalwarts available to draft and to bring into the team? Why are we doing that? And Josh Boyer has turned out to be a pretty darn good defensive coordinator. But what can you do when your defense is out there 90% of the game and you're exhausted? At that point, you might as well give it up. The Dolphins defense has been the highlight of this team. They were at one point. And not after this game, I'm pretty sure, but not. They were the number 1 ranked defense in football. What more can you ask for on that side of it?
I've done this. The Dolphins have had great ranked defenses. Oh, man. Trust me, I'm older than you. I watched Jason Taylor, Zach Thomas, and Patrick Surtain run around.
I'm not that much younger. I've seen Jason Taylor and Zach and all them.
Blowing big games on the road. It's my childhood, okay? Now, would you agree with this? This next OC hire pretty much decides Flores, Greer, and like Tua here. It does. It's so crude. It's everything. This next OC hire.
All right. Well, even if that is the case, we don't know who's going to be available yet. We'll find out when that happens. But first thing is first, we can immediately start to pick out exactly what they need to do on getting more talent, which I don't think anybody's going to try and say that they don't need more talent, and that if it had been Justin Herbert with this specific group of people, that he would have been exactly as successful. He would have found success just because he's a gunslinger, but let's not pretend like he would have gotten them this far. Okay. Justin Herbert has Keenan Allen, Hunter Henry. Mind you, we have our own guy, Mike Gesicki, so maybe that's a lateral, but nobody is on the level of Keenan Allen on this offense as a wide receiver.
Mike Williams.
Or Mike Williams.
Parker
maybe Mike Williams.
Williams is faster at least. Williams can at least take the top off a defense.
And then you have, by the way, Austin Eckler, who's a really pretty darn good running back. We had Myles Gaskin, Savon Ahmed, and I still didn't get my guy Patrick Laird, but that's besides the point.
Hey, I didn't get my guy Burita, so.
Right, exactly. So you have, let's say now the Dolphins are number 3 overall. Let's say they keep the number 3 overall pick. They pick Devonta Smith. They don't trade down to get more picks. Devonta Smith, number 3 overall. Already, that's one wide receiver that is immediate impact. Mm-hmm. Because not only does he already know Tua very well, he fits exactly what it is that he needs. Separation at the line of scrimmage, yards after the catch, and yes, he can catch the football. You sign a free agent wide receiver, say maybe someone like a Marvin Jones because that's somebody who really fits how this offense functions. Or maybe if you guys really want the big name, fine, go get Allen Robinson or Juju Smith-Schuster, whatever. If it makes you happy, go for it. At this point, I don't care, because the entire wide receiver room needs help. You bring back Albert Wilson. By the way, I'm still on that, because 1 year, $3 million, that's a bargain. I'm definitely at least getting in the training camp. And he fits also what this team is needing: a little bit of speed, reliable hands, and elusiveness. And he's had a whole year plus to rest up. So if he's not ready by training camp, I don't know what to do. So you get Devonta Smith back, or rather not back, but you get him. You get a free agent wide receiver. You get Albert Wilson back, who we know who he is when he's healthy, and he's a very, very good player. You get all these guys that are going to be fighting for a spot in training camp, which, by the way, already makes them a better group of guys that we usually get in training camp. As much as we hate these guys right now, they're still a better group than the fringe guys that we end up getting the boot anyway come training camp. So, like, I remember, what was the guy's name? Griff Whalen. Anybody know who Griff Whalen is?
I remember Griff Whalen.
Yes, Griff Whalen was a lot of fun in training camp, but he wasn't going to make the roster. Are you kidding?
No.
But anyway.
Chris Hogan.
So if we have Allen Hurds as our version of Griff Whalen for this upcoming training camp, that's already an improvement on the actual overall talent level in camp to compete. And if you can go ahead and find a running back like a Najee Harris, who also knows Tua very well and also knows how he functions, then go ahead and you can already start to build this offense again from the inside out. And as far as the offensive line is concerned, by the way, Austin Jackson, another year of development. Solomon Kinley, another year of development. You can try to kick Robert Hunt inside if you want to, into guard if you want to. That's fine. There are plenty of offensive linemen who are going to be free in free agency. There are going to be teams cutting, all for budgeting reasons, because that salary cap's going to go down this upcoming season. But Miami still has room, or at least we project them to have room. So there's going to be room for them to sign some guys. So you can find very good offensive line talent in free agency if you want to plug up that hole. You can find a center. If you can get your hands on Creed Humphrey in the second round, that would be fantastic. So have him be the center, who, by the way, he also knows Tua very well. I don't see why there's any reason not to believe. I don't see why there's any reason not to believe that this offense and all these players combined are going to improve later on. There's going to be new talent coming in that is supposed to be better than the talent we had this season. If you can improve on this defense, which again was the number one ranked defense in football, then there's nowhere to go but up. The reason the defense flopped, I think, again, is because all season long they've been running on fumes. How long can you run on nothing but sheer adrenaline just because you're out of energy before you start to flop? It happens. It's going to happen. Every team that has ever happened to is the same thing. So the offense is obviously priority number one. Give Tua his guys, Devonta Smith, maybe a Marvin Jones, get him Najee Harris, get him another wide receiver. What's your guy's name from Florida, Kai?
Oh my God, name not coming into my head right now. I apologize, but I know exactly what you're asking.
Oh, the wide receiver?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I don't know. He's a Gator, so he's going to be a bust.
Hey.
Help me out. Yes, thank you.
There you go.
Sorry, I'm reading the comments.
I summoned Manny with my slander.
Kai, you should be blocked from this damn show.
I'm reading
we're doing Bill's Mafia.
Listen,
Kai.
I'm reading the comments, and I'm
Look
lost
at this guy. Let's go Buffalo, sir. You're put in timeout. All right, I'm out.
When we got raided by Bills fans, what can we say? They're going to be cocky for a while, but you know what? Let them have it. Let them have it. They deserve it. They did well. Good for the Bills. Seriously.
Hey,
they waited years. They went through their rebuild, found their guy, made an offense that fits what it is he does best, and put him in place with playmakers that make him work. Good for the Bills. I'm saying that as honestly as I can. They did exactly what they were supposed to do, and now they are succeeding. We're still on our way there. Year two. We're still working on it. We're not there yet. We weren't supposed to get this far.
And even then, it's not even the same year two, right? Because this is year two, but it's year one with the rookie at quarterback, right? So there's time. Look,
year one half.
I'm still feeling the same way I was before the game, which is this. This season wasn't supposed to happen. Not like this. It wasn't. We weren't supposed to be 10-6. Here, wait, Manny, unmute him. I can't hear him. Or is he muted on his end? I don't know what's happening.
Shane is muted, if that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know if it's his end or Manny muted him. Yeah, Shane, you're good.
Now.
Can I just push back on the we weren't supposed to be here thing?
We weren't.
I think it was safe to say, okay, listen, we won 5 games last year. I think a lot of people thought it would be safe that we'd have a 2-3 game improvement, which would have put us at
7-9, which is 3 less games that we did get.
Come on, we weren't dramatic. Which in a normal season, that 8-8. Well, if we were in the NFC East, we would have been in the playoffs, right? Like that in a normal season, that 8-8, 7-9 is exactly where you finish in the hunt, right? Where the Dolphins live for eternity in the hunt. So
but there's a difference between being in the hunt at 7-9.
Oh, we were supposed to go 1-15 this year. We won 10 games. No,
but the thing
a lot of people thought we were going to be a 7-8 win team, anyways, and we won 10, which is nice. And they got to the big game, and then they were just completely outclassed in every facet of the game.
But if this loss happens a week ago and we have one more game left and we're out of the playoffs, right, because of that game, and we have one more game left, then I'm not talking about it this way because the season's not over and we still have one more game. But at this point, what good does it do me to sit here and say we lost 56-26? I'm going to question the entire coaching staff. I'm going to question all of the hires. I'm going to question all of the draft picks when there's literally nothing that's going to happen differently the next year other than we either move forward or we move back. And I'm going to wait to see which of the two happens.
Our job is we can question everything or be happy with everything. It doesn't change anything.
But then what does that do? Because then, okay, so we lose to the Patriots in the first week, 21-11. So I'm thinking this season's a bust. We're going to go 0-16, right? We lose the next game to the Bills. And then we beat the Jaguars. I'm like, okay, we're still a crappy team. Then we get a winning record and go on our win streak. And I'm like, okay, playoffs, here we come. And then we lose again. And I flip-flop all the way back to what I was in season 1, which is this season's a waste. And it sucks. Look, it was disappointing watching that game. I'm not happy we lost 56-26. And I think there are things that need to change and answer questions that need to be answered. But I'm not going to sit here and say that the season was a waste and I'm super disappointed because I'm not. We were 10-6 in a COVID year with a rookie quarterback, an offensive coordinator that doesn't know left from right at times. I'm going to take it as a win for us. And I don't care if people say, hey, but you were 1 win away from the playoffs. We can do that at any point. We can go back to the Broncos game. If we win that one, we're into the playoffs. The Patriots game, we win that one, we're into the playoffs. I'm not going to play that game. I'm going to move forward and say, you have another year. If you regress, then I'm going to start talking about getting rid of them. But until then, I'm good with what we have.
I mean, we have 9 months to talk about expectations for next year, but
expectations for next year are playoffs.
Yeah, absolutely.
Deep playoffs. No, not wild card on the road, lose.
I mean, it depends the way things shake out. I'm not going to sit here and say if we lose in the first round because we had an injury or something, I'm done with the coaching staff.
Shane, here's the problem. Your expectations for everything are higher than everybody else.
I've seen in the last 20 years. I want to. Yes.
Your expectations are higher than everybody else's right now. But that's the problem, is that the expectations for this season, again, year 2 of a rebuild should not be that you're going to begin the next dynasty. You can't have that. You are basically saying that you want Dan Marino to come out of retirement and a brand spanking new 25 years old after a trip in the
Dolphins to win a big game on the road that matters.
They weren't supposed to get this far. We have to be we have to be objective about how everything works. It was a meaningful game for Miami. Yes, it was a meaningful game for Miami.
For 20 years.
Wait a minute. So wait. What was the Cardinals game then?
Did that game mean anything?
Yeah, it meant something, but ultimately it was like this was the game. This was the game.
I mean, you can.
All right, and so was the Seahawks, and so was the Bills in week 2, and so was the Patriots in week 1, and so was the Chiefs in week 14, and so was the Broncos in week 11. Like,
again, today's performance to lose by 30 points and be losing all three facets of the game is it's
You
concerning.
can be
I'm sorry,
upset, Shane, but you're just like on another level.
No, but then losing, honestly, to me, losing by 30 and losing by 10, to me, honestly, they both would have been disappointing. Actually, I probably would have been more disappointed if it was a close loss, because then I would have felt like we really had it. This one, we just didn't. We were just not there. Listen, I've been a Hurricanes fan for a long time. I'm used to this.
Good.
This seems about right for what I'm expecting. The only thing is now next year, and I think we can all agree on this, next year, if you're in the same situation, you can't lose. You can't, right? But this isn't next year. This is this year.
But that's why we say it. 2021 is the year. This was always supposed to be the year. The year where the Miami Dolphins are actually supposed to come back and be a playoff contender. They weren't supposed to, when I keep saying they weren't supposed to get here yet, that's what I meant. Yet. It was supposed to be year 2 of a rebuild, and 8-8 was supposed to be the ceiling.
If we went back to that Jaguars game where we were sitting, I'm pretty sure, Michael, you're with us, where we were sitting here talking about that win and talking about how, whatever, the Dolphins need, you have to win this game. You'll probably win a couple others, but, it's whatever, right? Like, if I go back and look at those comments to that live stream, not a single person was saying what they're saying now. Expectations change, of course, throughout the season, but like, it's ridiculous that this is the reaction that some people are having. At the end of the day, and as much as it is to bring that up and say it, but it's a truthful statement, that at the end of the day is truthful in this point, which is the Dolphins are ahead of schedule. And look, like, whatever all these Bills fans want to say and whatever, because you guys can celebrate as Michael said, the fact
I'm not even taking it away from them. They earned it.
Exactly.
Good for them. They earned it. We can be objective about this. They earned it.
Bills fans had people yelling at them for the past 3 years that Josh Allen cannot hit one person, that he can't hit a guy, right? That he's too inaccurate. And he put out what, if not for Aaron Rodgers' performance this year, would be an MVP season, leading Buffalo to the number 2 seed. And
he's still going to be in the conversations.
Yeah, and whatever team they face, whether it's us or the Colts, however that situation goes out, they're going to win that game. I think if the Colts lose today, which is unlikely, they're going to beat us, the Bills. And if the Colts play next week against the Bills are going to beat the Colts too. Like, it's not, no one here out of us, and I want all Bills fans to understand this, that are trying to like have us feel some type of way.
Yeah,
like,
they're trying to get us.
Not a single one of us here are going to look at you and tell you that the Bills
complaining
are
about the Hail Mary
team. Like,
they're like 14-2 if not for the Hail Mary, dude. The Bills playoffs.
The Bills right now, and
won the
especially with
division.
Sean McDermott, are a good team. Like, they are.
But
like, if you can sit here as a Dolphins fan and say that,
how long did it take them, Kai?
Like, if you can sit here as a Dolphins fan in the comments on Twitter and everything like that and try to bash the Bills as much as we'd love to do it, like, come on now. It's ridiculous to sit here and think that this isn't a good, like, the Bills team right now is not a good team. And as Lewis said, most likely they're going to be against Chiefs in the AFC Championship at Arrowhead. Like, that's just what it is. I mean, like, there's not another team. I don't think they'd be playing on the Ravens side of brackets stuff. I don't believe that. Yeah, they will actually. But like, besides that, like, come on now. The Browns are not going to take down the Bills. The Titans, they're not going to take down the Bills, in my opinion. The Steelers wouldn't do that if that came to that situation. Like, we got to, kind of calm it down with some of this stuff. I understand that you guys are happy, just to address this in the comments, but like, listen, like,
no, but there are some Dolphins fans in here who are mad that we're not more on Shane's side right now, that we're not screaming and hollering
because there's no reason to be. Wait, all right, I've been silent for a little bit. There is no reason to be. The expectations, and again, a lot of you guys have been with us since week 1. We appreciate it. We love you guys a lot. Trust from the bottom of all of our hearts, because a lot of the names are familiar and a lot of you guys have been with us. But unless you go and you delete your comments, we can go back again to that Jaguars game, to the game after against the Seahawks, and read it because it has your name on it, and there's a live chat, and there is feeds, and see what everybody was saying. And as this comment that just came up just said, there is a clear difference in play calling. A clear difference in play calling. It is ridiculous that this is something that's happening. And another comment, this is still a rebuild, is exactly what we've been saying. It's to lose in this fashion hurts. To be on the stage where you came into this with an 88% chance to make the playoffs, where you came into this where 4 different ways could have gone your way on top of you just having to win and get in, it hurts and it's annoying and it pisses us off. Like, don't sit here and think that because we're calm and we're not irate and screaming at the camera like Shane was, that we're not upset. Are you kidding me? Coming in today, your expectation was 11-5, you're in the playoffs. Going into that Broncos game, the expectation was you had 5 games that you should have won and you went 4-1.
It's not only that. Who misses the playoffs at 10-6? That does it. That's hard to do, man. That is very hard to do. To miss the playoffs at 10-6, you have to be up against a lot of other teams that just performed really well. And that's what happened. That's what happened.
You got blown out. You got embarrassed. And guess what? Like, there were so many of these instances against the Adam Gase. And again, in the season in which they made the playoffs at 10-6, in that Adam Gase season, where they were embarrassed. This is the first time that the Dolphins have been flat out embarrassed since week 2 of last season against the Patriots, where, if I'm not mistaken, we lost 40-0. Like,
this is our first loss of more than one score other than week 1.
Welcome back, Manny.
Don't sit here and think because of any calmness or anything like that. We're upset and we're pissed. If you watch the in-game stream, you could see it from myself and you could see it from Lewis and you could see it from Juan. We were upset, and it's not fun to be in that situation, and it's not fun to sit here and talk about how our season is most likely going to end. Am I thinking that Mike Glennon's going to somehow win the game? No. And yes. Trent, as you said, Mike, you're right. It is how we lost. We lost in a terrible way, and it hurts. It does, and it is annoying. But at the end of the day, you have to look at it from the outside perspective and say, okay, you know what? This wasn't the season where you're supposed to go to the playoffs. This wasn't the season where you're supposed to make some noise. This was a season where at 1-3 after that Seahawks game, you were in a position where everyone was saying, okay, you could have 2 top 10 picks because Houston was playing bad and you were playing bad. And then you have to fill up everything. You're going to, sit Tua. And the plan, as we were told, was always, if that week 13, whatever, if that bye was after then, right, and that stayed there, that's when Tua would have gone in regardless. Instead, he gets put in earlier.
I will say, I wonder how much. I wonder if Gase really ever bought into the quarterback change, because it didn't seem like
again.
It never seemed like
came for Ryan Fitzpatrick.
No, I know he did. I'm not saying that.
That's why he never bought into it. That wasn't his quarterback.
But Flores made the change and never checked in with Gase to be like, this is a change I'm making. I want to make sure we're both on board with it. They were just like, this is the change I'm making. Deal with it. And then he obviously called things a different way. Like, come on, man.
I'll just say this one thing about Chan, right? I mean, Chan's been in the game for a long time. He's not a first-year
and he's an
coach. He's not a first. Besides the fact, Lewis, the man's been in this league and in many leagues for quite some time. It's gonna be hard for me to see where Flores goes in his door and says, "Hey, we're gonna change it up. All right, Tua's gonna start. Make a game plan for Tua right now. I need it." I don't see Flo doing that because you brought him in, like you guys said, for Fitz, but then all of a sudden Fitz wasn't gonna give you that extra lift where you can say the team has improved, right? Because we know what Fitz is. We already know what he's about. Mm-hmm. We drafted Tua for a reason. How does Coach Flores go into Changeli's office and say, now, hey, I know we brought you in for a reason, but I'm going to start Tua. How do you think we should approach this? He's a rookie. COVID season. No offseason. Mm-hmm. Okay. You've been meeting on Zooms the entire summer. Now, I don't know about you guys. I graduated on Zoom classes the last 2 semesters, and so did Kai. It is difficult, okay? 2-3 college classes on Zoom is extremely difficult. I could just imagine how a rookie quarterback in this league, all these rookies this season, including Herbert, I got to give Herbert credit too, had to do what most of us, that are students or players, even college players, right, had to deal with. It's a situation that, as much as I know where Shane's passion is, and like I said, I have a lot of Dolphin fans that are on his age that all they've witnessed is just, loss after loss after loss.
And you know what? I have a lot of older Dolphins fans that I am good friends with. I'm going to go ahead and call out my guys, Chad Ronenbaum, Eldon Jensen, all those guys. They're probably older than Shane is.
Correct.
They're not looking at this like it's the end of the world.
That's my thing, right? You need to take in consideration how 2020 delivered it to us, and you have to see that this was a very unnormal season for everyone. The Miami Dolphins' expectations were get better as a team, not make the playoffs, show improvement, build off last season. And this is what sucks about professional sports. Your team starts to win, all of a sudden we seem to forget what the expectations were in preseason week 1. All of a sudden we want to make the playoffs. We want to be better than anybody else.
Hey, look at the Heat. We went through it because we were doing all the streams and stuff. The Heat were not supposed
going through that right now.
The Heat were not supposed to be in the finals last season, and then they make it to the finals, and now they're struggling at the start of the regular season, and everyone's ready to burn it all down.
Look at this guy.
I saw that.
Hired Dan Mullen. I'm trying to get rid of Todd Grantham
And
right now.
Another thing that Money Marv said, and if you could bring that up, either Lewis or Manny. This is a perfect way, and I don't believe that QB wins is a stat. I will have to say here and admit that, but I think we can all agree that those first 2 games, and I ask every Dolphins fan, Bills fans, whoever the hell you root for, that you are in this chat right now watching this stream, to look at those first 2 games this season, Patriots and Bills, and tell me that those 2 games don't lie on Ryan Fitzpatrick making mistakes.
Especially that first one. You're
muted, Lewis. But
all right. So let's go ahead and change gears a little bit here. So let's take that question from Tesla and let's ask the question why.
11 drops today, though. Right?
I know 11 drops, and I went into that during my little soliloquy.
That doesn't help Tom Brady. That doesn't help Aaron Rodgers. That doesn't even help.
We watched Tom struggle last year. We watched Tom struggle last year with a bunch of receivers that couldn't do anything. We literally watched it.
I'm sorry. It's not like Tua has a legit number 1 guy on this offense, though, either.
Okay, they're asking, what is Tua elite at? That's basically what that question is. The question is not, do they have what it takes? The question is, what does Tua do that is elite that we can build on? I guess that's really the question.
Where he needs to be. He puts the ball where it needs to be. The whole thing coming out of college was he's accurate. This is the left-handed Drew Brees. And I don't like QB comps either. I will admit that again. I think QB comps are stupid.
Again, but also, guys, let's not forget you're putting a rookie quarterback in the hole in a road game where you need to win to make the playoffs, right? I mean, let's be honest here.
And this. You gave him 0 room to make mistakes.
Henry, my lord.
You gave him 0 room to make mistakes, because when he did make a mistake, then Lewis, you said it, right? Like, the defense was gassed, and they were, because the offense wasn't stringing a drive together early on in the game. Number 1, they usually do start slow when Tua plays, right? That's just usually how it goes. And number 2, it felt like if we didn't get a touchdown, it was a failure. And then the defense came back in and just allowed them to just drive down the field, right? So you gave him no room to do anything, but what does he have? Kai's right. He has the accuracy. He has the ball placement. Today, he threw 3 interceptions purely because, in my opinion, he was just trying to force anything. He's not going to do that.
You can really say that one of those was 100% his fault. Like, I think the Devontae Parker one, that happens to great quarterbacks. We watched it happen to Patrick Mahomes against our own defense. Lynn Bowden won the same exact thing. Like, could that ball be a little lower? Was it a little high? Yes, 100%. And as Juan mentioned, you also just went up with that with one hand. But that's besides the point. That last one, 100%, you threw it into no man's land. That's a Tua pick.
Yeah, but wait. So then what if Mike Gesicki was supposed to keep running and he decided to stop?
Again, there you go.
I'm just saying, though.
I think there was
because and then you saw on the next drive, right? He threw the same pass where Gesicki, he didn't stop. He kept running and he caught it, and the Dolphins were right inside the red zone. So as far as I know, maybe there was a miscommunication.
Hey, hold on. This Axel and Boss Plays is an interesting name. He has accuracy on 0 to 4 yard passes. First of all, he has better accuracy on 0 to 4 yard passes than any quarterback we've had in a long time, because I cannot tell you how many times I watched Ryan Tannehill throw a slant like 5 feet behind the guy.
Okay, but Mike, he had one of those today.
He had one what?
One of those weird throws that he that screen pass that went flying off to the intended for Lynn Bowden.
Oh no, but he was throwing that one away because the offensive line didn't even get up to block.
But still,
that was the bad snap play, right?
That was the bad snap play. Yes.
No, but we didn't. Okay, so another one. There was no. The excuses that were made for Tannehill 100% of the time was not the same thing that we're saying about Tua.
Oh, we made excuses for him.
If you correct. But if you listen to us, if you listen to anybody in terms of the stuff that we've been talking about with Tua, not a single person is sitting there saying that the only thing he needs is, having the weapons. They're saying, yes, he made mistakes. Yes, he needs to develop. We weren't saying that about Tannehill. The blindness that was in there with Ryan Tannehill was always, but just one more year, he doesn't have an offensive line. One more year, he doesn't have any pass catchers. One more year, he doesn't have this. One more year, he doesn't have that.
With Tannehill. With Tannehill, it was what he has now. It was, if we can get a good running game and a good offensive line, Tannehill will be fine. And he has that now.
Right. But it was excuse after excuse after excuse. And there was always something that we were harping on. And it was something that it just never came to fruition. That's just what it is. There were things and flaws and things that we pointed out that just never happened. You can sit here and objectively say that there are things that Tua did wrong. There's a lot of plays that you can go through his the 9-game slate that he had this year, where you could say, Tua should have made that play. That's on him.
Tua had a bad game today.
And Tua had a bad game today. But you're gonna say you give him next year. If by next year that he still looks as bad as he is, and you don't want to give it a second year or whatever, fine. If you want to go after another quarterback, you want to do competition, I'm all for it. I want my quarterbacks to compete, but come on, it's getting ridiculous.
No, and then they said it here. Who said it? That Tua has no arm. He can't throw it deep. First of all, when he did throw it deep, it usually hits the receiver's hands. And second of all, I want any of you guys to name me a player on the Dolphins that played today and was actually on the field playing other than just the garbage time that could take the top off of defense. One receiver.
I mean,
You're muted, Lewis.
It's not like Tua's throwing
He's going to say 19. Lewis is muted and he's going to say 19. That's all. Trust me. You can see it in his face.
No, Lewis is not muted.
No, I think his thing, he has a mic on the thing.
Oh, there he is.
Yeah, we can't hear you if you say anything, Lewis.
Nope, can't hear you.
How about now?
Now we go.
I'm going to leave that alone.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
No, but look,
Herbert had Keenan Allen and Mike Williams to throw to. I mean, if you ask me, those are pretty, 1-2 guys to have, in an offense.
Pull up that comment by Mike real quick. Pull up that comment by Mike real quick. I just want to see
19 isn't going to catch
I see it. I don't need it to be highlighted. Thank you.
I can't clap, but
no, but there was no one. There was no one that could do it, right? So what were the cornerbacks for the Bills doing today? They were letting Parker run 10 yards downfield, and they would stop 10 yards downfield knowing that he was just going to turn around. And when they did it, Tua threw some pretty nice back shoulder throws to Parker down the field.
Yeah.
Those are some pretty good passes, and I'm not going to take that away from him, just like I'm not going to excuse the fact that he threw some interceptions he shouldn't have.
So one thing I realized this year of Parker, and maybe it's something I should have realized a long time ago, he's not gonna, he's not a Chris Chambers, right?
He's never gonna burn someone.
Yeah, no. Exactly.
Unless it's a double move where the
guy.
quarterback.
But we knew that. We knew that.
But because of his ceiling last season, you would have probably said, "Hey, gain some speed, work on your route running."
But what you needed from Parker was what he did today, which really pissed me off in the second half. Which was he ran downfield, Tua threw a back shoulder, and we got a 25-yard completion. Yeah. That's Devontae Parker. And I'm fine with that being Devontae Parker.
That sounds like a good Devontae Parker to me.
Yeah, we just need another guy who, when he runs downfield, the safeties actually have to take some steps back. At least one. We had the one. And yes, Jakeem Grant wasn't catching them, but I will say this. When Jakeem Grant went down against the Raiders, that was very important because all the Raiders safeties could just step up because they didn't have to worry about anything over the top. That completely
correct. So we can mock and make fun of Jakeem Grant all we want to about he won't catch the ball anyway. But that's speed. Mike Wallace couldn't catch passes either, but you know what? They still respected that speed.
Even Brandon Marshall was a better downfield, deep receiver than Parker, and Brandon Marshall wasn't incredibly fast either.
You know what this means, right?
What?
You got to draft Smith.
Yeah, listen.
Okay, well, I think we all knew
Why
that.
do you look like that?
Wait. Before we
For
even get to
$1
this,
million.
before we get into this, I think it's insane that Dolphins fans were even thinking at the idea of drafting Sewell at 3 when you have much more pressing needs on this team.
Okay, hold on. I'm also
I
not
just
gonna
want to
blame
put
the
that
team.
out there.
I'm also not going to blame the team if they decide to do it, because if everything that I'm reading online is true, Sewell is in line to be the next best left tackle in the history of great tackles. That's what a lot of people are saying about him. I'm not agreeing with it or not, but if that's what they're saying, I don't know. No, I don't want Travis.
Look, even if he is the next best thing, but every year there's some left tackle that say this guy's the best guy since Orlando. I don't want to hear it anymore. I'm tired of hearing the comparisons like this guy's the next best thing since Peyton. No, this guy's the next best Orlando. No, this guy's the next best Ezekiel. No, cut it out. I'm sick and tired. And by the way, Najee Harris, this guy's the next Derek. No, not until we see it.
I love Walter's comment. Draft a quarterback at 3 and trade Tua for a second. Awesome. So just completely waste last year's number 5 overall pick.
And the team that gets Tua is going to love that we made that mistake.
Yeah. No, not only that.
I just want that to be out there.
What quarterback do we draft at 3 that is better than Tua?
Everyone has to.
They'll say Justin Fields.
Well,
None of them. Right?
I will call Howie Roseman right now and tell him that you guys want Carson Wentz, man. I would gladly take your third round pick.
Look, pairing him with Frank Wright would be awesome to watch. Anyone else?
Amazing.
Amazing. But like, it's
man, the Jaguars are letting me down, guys.
I don't care. It's the Jaguars.
The Jaguars are known for this. Mike, what are you talking about?
This is a situation in which I think that everything it just comes up together in such a nice little ball, right? If Tua
Frankie, by the way, it's them, Frankie. It's them, not me. I'm good. I can die in peace. It's these guys here that have long-suffering Dolphin fans.
And by the way, Manning is saying that from the perspective of an Eagles fan, not as somebody who's
I'm
like,
good,
you got one lucky break, a singular lucky break.
I will take that lucky break, homie.
Look,
I will take it.
It was not a lucky break. They put the beat down on the Pats.
I'm talking about that entire postseason. Who wins the Super Bowl with their backup quarterback? And then Nick
there's no luck. That's not luck. Luck was last week against the Raiders. That Super Bowl run was not luck by the Eagles.
That was
but if Tua does not get injured, regardless of the season that Burrow was having,
this is the Dolphins season in a nutshell for Shane, by the way.
Yes. Everyone would say that Tua was the number 1 quarterback coming out. If not for that injury, despite there would have been an actual argument on whether you go with Burrow or Tua. Since he was the number 1, you'd probably have rumors that they might be going Tua. It's insane that this thought is there. And who is it? Someone said something about it. Markins, I don't know how to say that. I'm so sorry. When do we start giving up on rookies in their first year? That's the perfect point. That's the perfect point. It is his first year, and he hasn't even gotten 16 games in. He's played 9 NFL games. Josh Allen could not throw a football correctly until this season. And even then, it's because of Brian Dable and his quarterback coach. His quarterback coach is the one that has helped him the most, who might get an offensive coordinator job this offseason.
And his offensive coordinator.
Let's bring him in. Guys, let's bring him in. Let's give him a promotion. Offensive coordinator.
Listen, at this point, I'll take anybody. Listen, I could call better plays on Madden, bro.
Okay, well, it's the Madden. No, you know what? I don't even like that, Mike. Because you know what? It's the Madden mentality that makes this so painful to go through.
What do you mean?
On Madden, all you have to do is you push the button and you manually catch the football, and amazing plays happen on a regular basis.
I play on all Madden.
Sometimes they get hit.
Sometimes they get hit.
I play in all Madden, homie. Don't you mess with me.
No, dude, I can't. Dude, all Madden is
I got my butt whooped at halftime. I'm the Dolphins today.
God, look, okay, hold on. I guarantee you that these are all the same people.
Mike, in Madden, in Madden, doesn't matter who you play with, you can win games. That's just it, because you're in control.
Nah.
So everybody thinks that it's the same thing. It's like it's simply as simple. Like in Madden, why aren't you doing this, and this? Because it's not one human controlling every player.
I don't know. Look, now people are saying Tua is not NFL ready. This is just all these same people would have said that trade Josh Allen after his first year.
Yeah.
All of them.
Oh, for
All
sure.
of them,
Josh
all of
Allen
them would have said
with-
Ryan
with
Josh
Tannehill.
Allen was
mentality,
being mocked in a
with
playoff
this-
game last year against the Houston Texans.
with this mentality, Josh Allen was a bust, a big one.
Look. I'm
Ken
just not.
Dorsey's the quarterback coach, by the way. Just to
Yeah. Oh, Ken Dorsey,
been-
quarterback.
He
Yeah.
has been one, along with Brian Dable, who has been praised, and Josh Allen has talked about it multiple times. Sean McDermott has talked about it. Players in the Bills organization have talked about it. And if there's any Bills fans here, you can agree with me because I know you know. Him and Brian Dable together have put in and fixed a lot of the things that was wrong with Josh Allen, because it was never that he couldn't throw the football. It was always that he had too many inaccurate moments. They repaired that in an offseason, and look at him. He still has a few of them. That's true.
Mm-hmm.
And again, if and I know that's still going to be an argument, but if not for the season that Aaron Rodgers had this season, Josh Allen is undoubtedly the most valuable player this season.
But he's big
Like-
and has a big arm. That's all people want, right? That's
Gunslinger.
all anybody wants. That's all
Gunslinger.
anybody wants is a quarterback that's going to throw a 50-yard bomb once a game. That's not how it goes.
I did say though that I thought that Josh Allen was going to be the better quarterback between Baker Mayfield and Sam Darnold.
No, I said Baker was not gonna be nearly as good as anybody thought.
Yeah,
He ripped me to shreds over it, by the way.
And then I watched Sam Darnold, including his last
I
game
never thought that Darnold was going to be.
against Ohio State's defense and that Cotton Bowl. And I'm like, what do people actually see in this kid? And listen, Josh Allen came from a team in Wyoming that, listen, they're not, they don't play the SEC and whatever, but the thing you always saw on tape was the effort and the grit and the heart, right? And then all he needed was to get well coached. And you see it after consecutive seasons, he's gotten a little bit better on every single thing, right? Because he came in running the football. Then he started throwing. He knew that at some point, or obviously, his own coach was telling him, hey, you got to be able to throw it away when it's not there and get down when you need to get down. And you see what happens when you bring in people that he's worked with before, right? Tua just needs the same thing, man. They need to find that
Josh
one
Allen
guy
was
that can help him
5-6
mold into it.
in his
That's
first
all it is.
season with 10 touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Sorry.
And to me, Tua is more talented in the pocket than any one of these rookie quarterbacks that are out there. Unfortunately, guess what? The offensive line is not that great. You don't have a running game, and you don't have a number one target. Don't tell me here that the Dolphin fans thought that next week, if they made the
Mac
playoffs,
Jones. Oh, good Lord.
bro, give me that they really thought that the Dolphins were going to steamroll in the AFC playoffs. No, man, no.
Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you, Jonathan. By the way,
This one right here.
yes.
Yeah, that's what I basically said too. And he was coming off a hip surgery rehab.
One that it was
people
rumored
seem to forget
that he
that.
wasn't going to come back. Like, that's one of the things. Like, when that first happened, one of the many things was, will he even be able to play football again?
Sorry, Kai,
Like-
this kid was going through a hip rehab while getting drafted, and all of a sudden getting prepared with a playbook through Zoom. Come on, man.
Hey, listen, I'm not going to hide it. Today, my biggest disappointment was the defense.
Oh, absolutely. Because
just was.
that's
They
your head,
started out good and they got gassed.
that's
No,
your,
hold
that's
on,
your
hold on.
head coach's side of the ball.
Exactly. But hold
It
on.
doesn't look
Hold
good.
on. The offense did not play well. I'm not saying that they did, but I'm not blaming the defense's performance on the offense. You gave up touchdowns to Matt Barkley and Antonio, what's his name? I don't even know who that is.
McKenzie?
No,
that's
the running back.
The running back,
35.
Antonio Williams, an undrafted free agent.
Antonio Williams, who looked stronger than you. Their offensive line was destroying our defensive line for the entire game. And our secondary did not look like they knew what they were doing outside of the first two drives defensively. And I'm not going to sit here and say, oh, they got gassed. It's the offense. So they were tired. That's why it happened. No, I think they just got out-coached on that side of the ball. I think the scheme for the Bills was better than the Dolphins.
By the way, special teams has to be looked at again.
Darren Rizzi,
Hold on,
missed you.
hold on.
But I think there's
Yeah.
also things where you had
Is
some key
Hill
guys.
on that too? Isn't Hill on the punt coverage unit?
I think he is.
I think Tyreek Hill's your punt
Roberts
returner.
is on the punt coverage unit too. You're missing a lot of linebackers because you're missing Roberts and Hill's super important on the special teams. You brought
Yeah,
in
Collins.
Roberts was missed today, man. Roberts was
AVG.
definitely missed today.
But you had a lot of people on special teams that had to step up and make plays. I mean, even at some point, Sam McGuavin was playing.
And let's not forget that punt return. Andrew Van
Munson.
Ginkel got mugged and nobody
Yeah,
called
mugged.
it. Okay,
No, yeah.
Hey, look, man, that entire drive where they threw the touchdown to who is it? McKenzie.
Ian
The
McKenzie.
entire defensive line was getting held the whole way. I can't tell you how many shoulder pads and jerseys I saw hanging off like this.
Yeah.
Like, okay.
So on that Josh Norman pick 6, I know the ball was intended to Parker, but I think it was Ford or maybe Gasecki, who was also trying to run like a straight seam route, and all you saw from the back camera angle was the Dolphin jersey getting pulled.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, they really didn't see that though. Like the side judge.
It was just
didn't see that.
it was just a matter of
He
every little
clearly
thing.
like this, and you see the Dolphin logo just in like this. And I'm like,
It was like
dude.
when the little things could go wrong, they did, and it was immediately followed up by something deflating or demoralizing. Right? It was like, oh, we had a 3 and out. Okay, well, they're going to throw a deep touchdown pass. Oh, we had an interception by Tua. Oh, Barkley's going to hand it off to this kid who's going to run for like 40-some yards who we've never even heard of before. Like, it was just something bad would happen, and I'm not going to blame it on the refs because it's absolutely not their fault. And then the defense was just like, I don't really want to be here anymore.
And let's not forget that a couple of weeks ago, Tua was doing things that we hadn't seen with Tannehill. He was doing things that we hadn't seen with Fitzpatrick, where on 3rd and
Pocket
longs,
presence for
he
one.
was getting 16 yards. On 3rd and 10, instead of 10, he was getting 12. On 3rd and 15, he was getting 20 by finding a guy, whether that was, the receiver doing the work or him getting the ball down the field.
After
like, how many
the
times
handcuffs
can
were
you
off.
Yeah, but like how many times have you looked at that and been able to say like, oh wow, we have a quarterback that in 3rd and long, like, look, I'm still going to be nervous, but like can do it.
There it is, the legitimate one.
Listen,
Look, if this were a year from now, in Tua's 2nd year, and this is the way he looked, I'm absolutely fine with people starting to say we need to look at other
100%
quarterback.
That's
100%.
the difference.
But
Yeah,
it's not.
fine. If he looks like this a second time
yeah.
after we've put everything in place, then we can start saying, yes, it's time to look elsewhere.
No.
And by the way, there are going to be quarterbacks coming out in 2022 too. Okay.
I don't even know.
I watched Sam Howell last night in person. That man to me has one of the best accurate deep balls.
Don't talk to me about UNC. Come on.
That's what I said.
I'm not bringing up Oklahoma.
Sam Howell.
I'm not bringing up Oklahoma. Leave me alone. Stop it.
I said Sam
Stop
Howell.
it. No. Association. Stop it.
By the way, really quick, I want to reiterate this again. I think Lewis did a magnificent thing in posting this when we put up his whole framework in the whole video and in this whole thing. To ask a rookie quarterback all of a sudden to have one playbook and then him knowing that the vet has another type of playbook and then to be thrown onto that in a whole season, that's tough, man.
And I'm not going to lie. I hope it's
That's-
not. I hope it's not. And I'm not saying it is because I think he's a really mentally strong player.
Yeah.
But hearing
But it's a
everything
lot.
that's going on, not just it within the organization, having one person tell you play it safe, and then you look at your peer and they tell him, hey, when you go in, just let it rip. But not only that, but having everyone in the world criticize literally every move you make. Tua throws an almost interception, and immediately people start saying Herbert wouldn't have done that. Why didn't he throw it downfield? Fitzpatrick would have done something different. I'm hoping it's not getting to him, but I also wouldn't blame him if it is. That's hard to sit through, man.
Yeah. Again, Dolphins fans will say we're saying excuses. I'm just saying it as a human, right? As a person that, we've all had to adjust because of 2020, but that's a lot, man.
What were the
Rehab.
excuses for Josh Allen? Were there any? I'm sure there were.
Allen?
Oh, wait, hold on.
He was in Wyoming. Wyoming
No.
doesn't play competition.
There were excuses for Josh Allen last year. The excuses for Josh Allen last year was Josh Allen does not have a receiver. And then they go out, make one offseason move. They get Stephon Diggs. Everybody says that's the move of the year, and people are like, oh, maybe not. And now look at that offense. So I'm not going to sit here and say that if you give Tua a full arsenal of guys, he's going to be the best quarterback in the world.
But that's what they want. Nothing less.
Part of me saying that. But do I think that Tua with a full complement, a running back that can break a tackle and make decisive cuts, wide receivers that can outrun cornerbacks. Do I think that Tua can be a top 10 quarterback next year? Absolutely.
May I paint this
expect him
picture?
to be a top 10 quarterback next year.
May I just paint this picture? Let's say you and your coworker, right? You guys are you guys are the head of a huge company, correct? So then the game plan that your bosses give you is different than the one that your coworker is given. But then all of a sudden you're asked to perform twice as much, right? But yet you see that the game plan that's given to your coworker is working.
Mhm.
You as a person, you're like, hey, like, can I please have a little bit of that at least so I can put it together with my stuff, and then let me mature with it, let me grow with it, let me ask questions, let me go make mistakes and get better. Let me go out there and just, at least prove to myself, at least I don't care about the outside noise, but to myself.
Can I say this too?
Let me get out there and just, let me go out there and ball. Because
Manny.
Jesus, yeah.
That's exactly why people wanted Tua to play in the first place, was to take those lumps and learn from the experience. Well, here it is. He's taking the lumps. Now you're saying that the lumps themselves are the problem.
No,
The goalpost, man.
No.
can't catch
I'll
him.
say this. Looking back on the season, would I've liked to make the playoffs? Absolutely. Do I still hope we make the playoffs? Yes. Jaguars. All right. No, they're back on defense. Never mind. But
the Jaguars are not going to waste your time.
I've disagreed
be awesome
with putting Fitzpatrick in ever since the Broncos game, because this is my one claim with that. That was looking at the playoffs, great, but I think Tua could have brought you back in that Broncos game. I think Tua could have brought you back in the Raiders game.
Not with the playbook he had.
No. I'm not talking about the playbook. Sure, if they had called different plays, absolutely things would have been different. But I think Tua could have brought you back, and then you saw it against the Chiefs. You had a really rough time against the Chiefs, and I asked it to Alfredo, and I don't remember what his answer was because I think I might have phrased it differently. But what is the difference between the Denver Broncos game, the Oakland Raiders game, and the Kansas City Chiefs game? We are down 30-10 to the Kansas City Chiefs. Why didn't you bring in Fitzpatrick then? Why not try to get a spark?
Because things were moving somewhat.
No, but they weren't. He had just gotten a safety. He had literally just
But
gotten
that was
a safety.
one drive, not the entirety of the game.
We were down 30-10 in the third quarter, and he decided to keep Tua in there. We're down by 3 points to the Raiders, and he pulls him. We're down to the Broncos by how much? 10 points in the third quarter, and he pulls him.
I kind of hate to say it, but maybe because he knew that no matter who he threw out there, Tua or Fitz, that Dolphins were not going to win that game against Patrick Mahomes.
But we almost won the game with Tua.
I understand, but you look at the Chiefs compared to what was it, Denver and Oakland. You can, those are games that you should have won regardless.
Okay, so what? Okay, so what we're saying is if it's a bad team, we're going to take out the rookie and put in the other guy.
That's what it looks like.
When the heck is Tua supposed to learn? And he's constantly playing it safe because, everyone's questioning, why does he not throw it deep? Why does he only check it down? Because if he throws it deep and throws an interception, he knows that the next quarter the coach is going to grab him and say, hey, we're going to put in the veteran. What the heck are you building?
I think the best thing from all this is we can say that Changeli, not by 7:30 p.m.
It's kaput.
He's out.
Yeah.
By the way,
he's
Justin
out.
Herbert scored another touchdown. So here come the Justin Herbert fans.
That's fine.
Well,
By the way, the Chiefs are playing all of their backups, but the national media will forget to say that.
Yeah, there's like,
Patrick Mahomes
who
is tweeting from home.
cares? Who cares? It's okay.
Alejandro, I totally agree with you.
You know what? I think I'll go one step further. Isaiah Ford was a Patriots plant. He came back tainted by the stink of New England, and suddenly he was awful.
They told him, hey, we're gonna cut you when you get down there. Drop everything.
Drop everything.
And then we will resign you the next year.
Exactly.
Here's one thing I want to also mention.
It was a trap all along.
With the Mac Jones and Tua thing, and not that Alabama and Florida are similar offensively and what they get. And I know, Manny, you might get hurt with what I'm about to say here.
I'm already hurt.
You can argue the same exact thing that you're saying with Tua and Mac Jones with what happened in Florida this year, because Kyle Trask, with the weapons that he had a Heisman season Just like Mac Jones had a Heisman season, but it's Alabama and it's Mac Jones and it's all the receivers. So you're going to tell me that, let's say Kyle Trask wins the Heisman. Technically, according to the award, he's better in their eyes than Mac Jones was this year. So you're going to say that Tua is worse than Kyle Trask when Kyle Trask, and as a Gator fan, can say to you, probably not going to be a starting quarterback in the NFL?
No.
Come on now.
Yeah.
Like, that's ridiculous to think. And Kyle Trask skill position players, Pitts might be a top 10 pick. If Kadarius Toney, who's been rising and rising and rising and rising, is now a second round pick, should be, has a good Senior Bowl, good combine, everything like that, will probably be a late first round pick. So two of his top guys are going to be top 60 picks, let's say, at the end of the day. Yes, it's going to be the same thing with Alabama, but like, come on now. Like, and you can't sit here and say, oh, but that's it's Kyle Trask in Florida, and look what happened against Oklahoma. Mac Jones. It's like, yeah, Mac Jones is also dealing with people who three of those offensive players are going to go in the first round.
But here's the difference, though. Mac Jones has had the same group of guys this whole season that are so good, right? I mean, bro, Waddle gets hurt, and here comes Smith and company. And
that's what I'm saying. It's ridiculous.
You have one of the top offensive lines in the country. Look at last night. How do you win football games, guys? You normally win football games if you can run the damn ball. You outman the other guy for 60 minutes. That's what Jimbo did last night with Texas A&M. Manny
just keeps throwing it in our face that we weren't at the game.
Mike, I'm talking football 101. I'm talking football 101. We want Tua to succeed, but I've never seen a quarterback succeed without a running game. I've never seen that. Maybe Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, that's probably it.
Aaron Rodgers is Aaron freaking Rodgers. Like, come on,
Brady.
Brady too, but also Brady had a good.
Brady had running games and defenses. I don't want to hear that Tom Brady stuff.
I don't think Brady had great running games his whole career.
Every game that I saw, he was having somebody run the ball for like 100 yards.
Garrett could not get a single snap with anyone else.
Rex Burkhead.
Okay,
they have big names, but they ran the ball.
Corey Dillon might have been the best running back he ever had, and that was
by name, not by production.
200. We ran for 200 and something yards against the Patriots, who are one of the better team defenses.
Right, but also that had so many.
Didn't call it
right, but you also against that Patriots team, they've had a lot of people that were out from injury. They've had a lot of people that were out from COVID stuff, and they also drafted a safety low in the. I believe that Duggar was drafted in the third round.
Okay, but time out.
If the offensive game plan was going to be this crap that we saw today, just. Like, why then? I get it. Patriots guys were out. You ran for 200 yards, but look at the game plan that was still implemented today. It didn't get you anywhere in weeks past, and you couldn't rely all of a sudden on Captain Save Orion Fitzpatrick off the bench to come in the game and to
Okay. So hold on. No. Okay, so then we'll ask this because I think it deserves to be asked. Fitzpatrick is there. Number one, at what point do you put him in? Because it seems like everybody would put him in. And two, does he make a difference in this game?
He made a difference, but it's too much to behold because the special teams just sucked today. They sucked it out right out of the gate.
Special teams in the defense. Tua and Ryan Fitzpatrick don't play defensive back, defensive line, linebacker.
Exactly. Lewis, what do you think?
I'm sorry. I was Shane's calling me out on the 5 reasons thread, so I wasn't paying attention.
No, he's saying that we're a flat circle, which is ridiculous because we've missed the playoffs as a 9-10 win team. But this is what I'll say to that before I get back to asking you about Fitzpatrick. Then the Buffalo Bills fans can think the same exact thing because they went 4 years in a row to the Super Bowl and lost all of them. Okay, they can look at this right now and say they're in the playoffs and be like, oh, this is a flat circle. It doesn't matter. We're not going to win the Super Bowl. No, you have to take the wins when you can get them. You have to look at the positives. You have to say, hey, we're making improvements. The Dolphins have not regressed at all. Let's just take what we can. With a flat circle.
Oh, my God. Look at this guy.
Hey, wait, no.
Herbert also had a horrible game against the same New England Patriots that lost.
Yeah. What happened when
he wasn't all that great against the Dolphins?
Yeah, what happens when he played against good defenses? I don't remember. Did he win those games? Oh, wait, no, he didn't.
No, but he did have garbage ass touchdowns.
But time out. when people, this is the one thing I love when people talk about Herbert. They say, "Oh, but Herbert has a terrible head coach." So is that not an excuse then? I'm just trying to, make sure, because if I say that Tua has bad receivers, it's an excuse. But he has a bad coach. Come on, get out of here.
Individual performances outweigh actual wins and losses. Apparently,
but do you think Fitzpatrick makes a difference today?
Yes, but only because this offense is built for him.
I don't think we win the game because of the special teams.
I'm not even saying they win the game, but I'm saying yes, it would have made a difference because the offense is built for him, not for Tua.
But time out. To me, the only thing that makes a difference is winning the game. I don't care if we lose by 10 or by 30. A loss got us out of the playoffs. JP
Dave Wannstedt would have.
Okay, now Paul's just
Dave Wannstedt would have coached us.
Oh, we love you, bro, but you need to be in a timeout for a second, buddy.
No, he's definitely
Leo Lemon.
One thing to add to the Herbert thing again with that Patriots game, just to mention it, 26 of 53 for 209 yards, had a below 50% completion percentage. He averaged under 4 yards a throw, and had 2 interceptions, with his longest throw being 24 yards.
Wait, hold on. What's this? Who?
Huh?
Who's the receiver?
Marshall.
He has more than Tannehill's first season.
Cody, are you Shane's friend?
I think his second. No, because the first season Tannehill had garbage.
I'm gonna sound like an owl. Who's the receiver? Tannehill had. I'm sorry, I'm gonna go down a list here. Jarvis Landry, at the very least, right there. Jarvis, if you had Jarvis Landry on this roster, oh my God, it would have been so much better.
If you had Jarvis Landry on this roster with the slants and the dump downs, Jarvis Landry would have been praised by Dolphins fans, and never would he ever hit again with anything. Like, this is, come on now.
And by the way, Tannehill had Devontae Parker too. Not our Devontae Parker, but still had Devontae Parker.
I would say that was that Devontae Parker didn't take care of himself as much as he should have.
No, he shouldn't. He didn't. But that's the reality of it.
I also look back and I feel like that team was really just handcuffed by an awful coach. My goodness.
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay, so Reggie Bush, just to be clear here, Reggie Bush, especially in that first season, right? Tannehill's first season, better than any running back we have on the roster right now. Brian Hartline, 1,000 yards. Devon Best, 770.
Okay. Where does Brian Hartline rank on our receivers right now in terms of when we started the season?
Listen, if you could give me a 26-year-old Brian Hartline right now in place of anybody we have besides Devontae Parker, sign me up.
Preston?
Sign me up. Preston gets hurt.
You take Hartline over Preston?
100%.
That was tricky. I love Hartline. I love Hartline.
Reggie Bush is better than all of the running backs on this roster combined.
What, Jay Ajayi, dude?
Jay Ajayi,
in his rookie season, Reggie Bush. Wait. In the rookie season for Tannehill,
you're not going to slander. You're not going to slander the 2016 Jay Ajayi running game. You're not.
That was 3 games.
1 year.
The Reggie Bush. 1 year. Look. Thank you, Alejandro, for agreeing with me on this. Reggie Bush in Tannehill's rookie year, 986 yards, 6 touchdowns, 2 receiving touchdowns. So 8 total touchdowns, 292 yards receiving. So he had pretty much 1,100 yards plus. Reggie Bush on his own. That's better than any of the running backs you have on the roster right now.
Pretty fire that year. I love that Reggie Bush. Hey, we got a dono.
Thank you, Josh Allen. Josh Allen has improved dramatically. What else do you want to say?
I hate him. I'm never going to say anything other than that. I will say he played well, but I still hate him.
Guys, it just hit me. I'm not mentally prepared for this to be our last post game.
Yeah, it's pretty much going to be. But you know what?
Jaguars scored a touchdown, baby. Woo!
So 17-10.
13-point deficit, and it's not halftime yet.
Hey. We gotta call this down. It's been an hour and a half now, guys.
We've got our wrap up on Wednesday too for Extra Yard. And I will say this:
a show for the playoffs.
What show for the playoffs?
I don't know. You guys want to do a show for the playoffs?
Well, no. I think we can. I mean, we can do a shorter
reaction. It's not good, so probably not.
What reaction is not good?
Lewis, he was like, oh.
Also that season, Daniel Thomas had 325 rushing yards.
Playoffs.
Lamar Miller had 250 rushing yards. Come on, that Tannehill rookie season, he had people.
Okay, Wait, I saw this in the comments, and I think this is the backwards way we think about quarterbacks. It's how the baby. I mean, it's literally a baby. Asked how long do you give Tua? And he said next season is his audition. Personally, I don't see it as you have X amount of years. If you haven't figured out, you're done. Right? It's more of an individual kind of growth thing. Like if Tua improves next year and throws, I don't know, 20 touchdowns, 10 interceptions, maybe like 4,000 yards, and I see improvement in the way he's deciphering things, I'm not going to say that's it, but I'm also not going to say that's a great season.
It took Drew Brees 5 years to become Drew Brees. I'm not saying we're going to need to wait. I am not saying we need to wait 5 years to make a decision on Tua.
Right.
But I am saying that patience is key.
But then people take that and think, oh, then you want another 7 years of mediocre. No, I'm not going to give him 7 years if he's not playing well. But we all saw, hey, listen, when Tannehill, what was he, 27 touchdowns, 10 interceptions with Bill Lazor at offensive coordinator? That Tannehill looked pretty good, and that's why we held on to him. And there's a reason why we held on to him, because look at him now. He got into MVP talks. He was a game away from the Super Bowl. I don't think we can look at it like, oh, you've got 3 years, figure it out. I don't know.
Okay, I just need to do something really quick because it's driving me out my mind. Okay, first, 2012, Tannehill's rookie season, because Cody's making me upset. I'm sorry, Cody's making me mad. For the Miami Dolphins.
Wait,
Ryan
I just went through this.
I know, but I'm gonna go forward. This is the full list of the guys that we had on offense, pretty much.
Devon Bess,
who, by the way, was our favorite slot receiver for a very long time.
Baby, great in fantasy. Caught everything under 10 yards.
Oh, that's right. Jarvis Landry didn't come until the year after, doesn't he?
Yeah. Jarvis was a 13 draft pick.
That's right. So it wasn't Landry. Okay, so it was Devon Bess, which is still, by the way, better than what we have now.
Yeah.
Brian Hartline. Anthony Fasano. Tannehill loved Fasano.
Hey, Anthony Fasano was pretty good.
Yeah, I know.
I like
Charles Clay,
Fasano,
who, by the way, turned into a really good weapon for Tannehill.
That was rookie Charles Clay, right?
when he was a fullback.
Yeah, he drafted him as a fullback. That's when we had Michael Agnew too. Man, that guy was a joke.
I'm just going down the list of things here for actual receivers. So Hartline, Best, Anthony Fasano, Reggie Bush, Charles Clay, Rishard Matthews, Marlon Moore. I would take right now, I would take Rishard Matthews.
Mm-hmm.
I would take Devon Bess, the Devon Bess that we knew, not the one we have nowadays. But
Yeah.
Brian Hartline. I'll take Brian Hartline over, Malcolm Perry. I'll take Brian Hartline over Malcolm Perry. Easy.
Oh, man,
Easy.
that's some disrespect to Brian Hartline to say over Malcolm Perry.
I'll take Hartline over everybody except Parker and Williams.
Parker. That's for me, except Devontae Parker. That's disrespectful.
I'll take Devon Bess over Lynn Bowden right now.
Yeah. And I think another thing, too, is
and
Lynn
Anthony
Bowden is going to be a guy next year. Like, Lynn Bowden is going to be a guy next year. I don't think that this is
he just needs to make faster decisions. I'm sorry. I was really upset today.
100%.
He would catch the ball and just stand still. I'm like, dude, you got to know. You need to move forward. Come on.
That was what we hated Jarvis Landry for a while. It's like he would keep going backwards to try and make a bigger play.
No. But Jarvis was always moving, right? That's the one that got like Jarvis. Even if he was moving sideways or backwards, he was moving. Today, I just felt like Bowden had a couple moments where he caught it, turned around, looked, and was like, "Okay, which way do I want to go?" It's like, dude, if you have no idea, just fall forward.
Rodrigo Blankenship has a leg and barely missed. Like he missed, but barely missed a 56.
That's going to be key. That's going to be key to this year's Super Bowl run for the Dolphins when we make it into the playoffs.
And on that note, we're going to call this a show.
Yeah.
All right. So thank you all so much, everybody, for sticking with us this long, an hour and a half worth of post-game ranting, I guess. You can catch Kai and Michael on their show, The Extra Yard. And as for me, well, I'll find a home somewhere. So anyway, thank you all so much for joining us for this one last broadcast. For myself.
Whoa.
It's not over.
It's not over.
It's not over.
I'll see until it's over.
I'll see you Saturday or Sunday. Bills rematch, baby. Let's go. I believe in Mike Glennon. There's a reason why the Bears gave him a contract.
Couldn't even finish the sentence with a straight face. Thank you all so much for joining us. We will see you all the next time this ever happens. Good night.
Wednesday, real quick. Wednesday night, the extra yard, 7 p.m. start time for anyone. In case we don't see you again next week,
We're gonna start doing mock drafts.
Yeah, we'll have everything. And again, for just to reiterate, although I know Lewis said it, and Lewis has been our rock literally all season, and the host all season. Just thank you guys again so much for coming out, especially for staying through with us through the losses, through the wins, through the rants, through the sadness, happiness, everything like that. We really appreciate it. Michael, I don't know if you want to say anything else, but I did want to get that out there.
See you next week.
There you go. All
That's
right,
my thing.
Good night.